So I wanted to point out as the world falls, it's the revenge of the Romanovs or the redemption of the Romanovs. This is going back to World War One. World War One like never ended. They just kind of repackage it and come up with different tactics. The Windsor family are not the divine rule. They are frauds. They are fraudulent. That is why they are experiencing a lot of death and cancer because that family is not the divine rule. It was actually the Romanovs from World War One. So this is largely why people like myself are tracked and surveilled is because we are the reappearance of the Romanov bloodline. I've collected a lot of people in my life remembering who they are in connection to me as being part of the Romanov bloodline. They didn't think that we would be able to recover ourselves, but we did, and they came up with tactics to try and inhibit our succession. That is God's will, okay? Because the God's will is not for this like complete destruction of the material world. It is for the redemption of his servants. We're not in martyrdom anymore. We are no longer in martyrdom. So, as the world falls, understand that this is a complete retaliation to what happens when you ruin the divine rule. It's very satanic. But some people would say that the Romanovs were also steeped in Satanism because not all Satanists are child killers going out there collecting children, doing ritual sacrifice. They're not. A lot of Satanism is death, right? Dealing with death, dealing with the extraction of riffraff. There is a balance of good and evil. When they killed the Romanovs, the world fell to the dark side of the moon. You had a different matriarch, right? She was very sexual. She was very murderous, murdering innocent people. I watched this documentary about the Zodiac killer. The funny thing is, he was like, watch your children and watch your women. Watch the children, watch the women. If you don't protect women, if you don't protect children, guess what? You get something like the Zodiac killer. You get something like mass serial killings. That's why when this world completely crumbles, it already fell to the dark side of the moon when the divine rule was taken out of power forcefully by the hands of the enemy. And then it becomes a fertile ground for breeding a lot of like-minded people for the killers Satan tries to uphold the perfect image, right? The church, the perfect image of what people should be like and how they should do things. And it is completely inverted because while they know all the Bible verses and while they exude this image of the perfect family, it is not. It was not. They are not. It's a complete inversion. It's a complete bastardization of the divine rule. So when the world falls to the dark side of the moon, it did. It did back in World War One. World War II was a retaliation to World War One. You don't return violence with violence. There's been a unification effort to prepare for the New World Order, which I don't think is going to fully manifest. But it's like World War III is sort of like the alchemization of like the way things should be, evolve or die, get on board with Jesus Christ or die. Every knee will bow, every knee shall bow or die, evolve or die. Some people want to die. They're begging for it. They're desperate for it. It's not the worst thing in the world. Die for the faith, that's part of it. Die for the faith. What is this world? What is this place? It's like, if we can't move about the world freely, if we can't do God's will, which we will because only God's will reign. And some people don't understand when terrible things happen. They're like, how can it happen? Because if you're not protecting the mother and the son, if you're not protecting the manifestation of Mary and Jesus, then destruction comes to you. So while you might have been upholding this perfect image of what the world tells you the family should look like, but they're not actually serving God's will. They're actually promoting pedophilia, greed, lust, anger, fear. That's a species that is not likely to survive. That is the only way God would have it. We are a species seeking to survive. That is the only way God would have it. So when death and destruction comes, just understand it is the redemption of the divine rule that we last saw as the Romanov family. So make no mistake about it. All right, that's that. You're the right kind of people. Love y'all so much. Have a great night. Talk to you again really soon.